I've got post-election blues. I would like to live in a democracy. And as the election has made clear, I don't. Labour shouldn't have a supermajority. There should be more members of Parliament, well, from the Tories. And Reform, I hate to say it. And also from the Greens, and maybe the Liberal Democrats. And the SNP are underrepresented in Scotland. Plaid Cymru might even deserve more than the seats they've got. My point is this. Our first-past-the-post electoral system does not work. It means that we end up with parties in power who do not represent the majority of the people of the country. Labour does not do that. Keir Starmer has managed to get this enormous majority by securing fewer votes than Jeremy Corbyn did, which is a quite extraordinary situation. But Jeremy Corbyn didn't win a majority, as we know. And why should Keir Starmer be able to rule on the basis of such a low level of support? It's quite absurd. This doesn't even approximate to democracy, when democracy is about the voice of the people, the demos. So what should we have? Well, proportional representation is the obvious answer. PR, as it's called, would seek to better reflect those MPs elected in accordance with the wishes of the people who vote. It's quite simple to deliver. You don't abandon constituencies, but you certainly make them a lot bigger than the existing ones, many of which don't make sense. If we're totally honest, you would have a constituency, say, in my case, called Cambridgeshire, a pretty big geographic area, for which there would be 5, 6, 7 MPs, maybe, and you'd vote in the election for your party of choice. And the first person on that party's list would get in if they were allocated 1 seat. As a result of the election, if they were allocated 3 seats, the first 3 people on that party's list would get in, and so on. The point is, you'd end up with MPs being returned who, broadly speaking, represented the opinion of the area. Every single person in the constituency, unless they vote for the monster raving loony party, who have a reason for standing in elections but don't seek real representation, would probably end up with somebody who they could talk to who broadly reflected their views. I would love that. Millions, tens of millions of people in this country would love that because, well, they've never experienced it. First past the post has always denied them the opportunity to vote for an MP whose opinion they actually share. So we need proportional representation. Now, the absurd thing is that I suspect that every single party that has now been returned to Parliament, excepting Keir Starmer's Labour Party, will now support proportional representation in 2029 because they know it's their best chance of increasing their number of seats. Keir Starmer's Labour Party won't. And I use the word Keir Starmer's Labour Party deliberately because the Labour Party itself has voted in conference by a very large majority to adopt proportional representation along the lines I've just suggested. Constituencies with multiple members return to Parliament to make sure that we get a fair representation of opinion in that place. But Keir Starmer doesn't want that. Keir Starmer comes out as a consequence as the biggest anti-democrat in the UK. I want democracy. I want democracy in Parliament. I want democracy in local government. I want democracy for the devolved nations of the UK. I want them to have their own choice. But we're being denied it. And one person is standing now between us and the achievement of that goal. And it's our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. And it's not to his credit.